So I went to court to divorce my husband, who was declared a woman legally in the state of Texas. My ex-husband wanted to breastfeed my daughter when she was a baby. He would just tell the story like he gave birth to these 3 children and let people believe that he's the mother and that we had children, that we were a lesbian couple because people knew that the children had a mother in Texas. So he would just talk like we were a lesbian couple, and he would say that we had our children through in vitro fertilization. He would imitate my laugh and my mannerisms, my way of dressing. He had implants, a nose job, his chin done. And so, yeah, he looked a lot like me.
This is a clip of a woman named Tracy Shannon, whose ex-husband decided to become a transgender woman. The way she describes her previous marriage sounds very much like an abusive relationship. Yet Democrats will tell women like her that if she isn't polite and empathetic to her abusive husband, she is a transphobic bigot. Lately, there's been a trend of heterosexual men abandoning their wives to pursue the fetish that is transgenderism. And consequently, the term trans widow has become mainstream. The term trans widow refers to a woman whose husband decided to become trans. The word widow is used despite the fact that the husband hasn't literally died. His transition is a metaphorical death of his previous quote-unquote cis male self. The husbands who abandon their wives and families to transition are almost without exception narcissistic and at best emotionally abusive. The most famous example of a trans widow is Chris Tyson's wife. Chris Tyson was the best friend of YouTuber Mr. Beast, and has a history of supporting pedophilic anime porn. He basically abandoned his wife and children to pursue his cross-dressing fetish. Because of this trend, today I will be reviewing a movie called The Danish Girl, or as sane people would call it, The Danish Man, which prominently features a trans widow. Before we begin, a quick introduction. My name is Mariana, and on my channel I dissect film, television, and video games from a radical feminist perspective. So if this interests you, please consider subscribing. This video does not advocate for harassment, violence, nor participation in hate groups of any kind. Spoiler warning, not that it matters because this film sucked. The story starts at an art show. Einar Wagner is a successful painter. He wants to become a woman, and the first time the audience is informed that he is trans is soon after the art show, in this scene.
Well, hello there.
The way that he expresses his gender euphoria is cringeworthy and creepy. Like, why is getting excited by clothing, hair, and makeup considered a protected characteristic in law nowadays? It makes no sense. And later, in the movie, he cries when he has to take off his feminine clothing and put on masculine clothing. Who cares this much about clothing? It's unhealthy to care this much about outward appearance. The first time he reveals to his wife that he enjoys wearing female clothing is during a sex scene. Further evidence that male to female trans is nothing more than male perversion. Trans people are constantly telling on themselves. Also, the husband in this movie follows the patterns of narcissistic behavior in relationships common among trans women.
I was always pretty. You just never noticed.
American Democrats and their movies exacerbate the narcissistic delusions of men like this. And I don't use the word delusion lightly. The movie claims that Einar passes and is pretty. A clear lie.
People are looking.
Well, you're a pretty girl. You'll have to get used to it.
His features are unquestionably male, and the actor who plays him is about 6 feet tall. Many presumably straight men approach him thinking that he is a woman. When he eventually decides to be alone with one of these men, he ultimately cheats on his wife with the man because the random guy calls him using his female name, which is so affirming to him that he cries. Cheating is wrong, but this movie uses the transgender need for affirmation as an excuse for Einar's cheating. Despite his narcissistic abuse, Einar is depicted as a virtuous character, and his poor wife is portrayed as lucky to be with him. He justifies his cheating by saying that his female self is like another person, and it wasn't him who cheated. He even talks about his cheating trans woman self in the third person. For context, Lily is his trans woman name.
I love you, but only you. It's Lily.
You need to tell me when Hendrik and Lily got together, they kissed. Has it gone beyond that?
No, Lily has never gone further than that with a man. She wouldn't.
There have been other men.
Wait, there was another, yes, but it was a long time ago.
His wife's name is Gerda, and she's also a painter. Near the beginning of the movie, she brings her paintings to a museum curator. The museum curator is surrounded by nude paintings. He rejects Gerda's work on the grounds that her work consists of only portraiture and doesn't show nudity, even though her portraiture is quite good. As someone who has a professional painting background, I've never met a man in the art world whose main interest was nude painting and who wasn't a creep. Yet this movie depicts the curator as an accurate judge of artistic merit and criticizes Gerda for being too puritanical in her portraits. Later in the movie, Gerda paints her husband's head with a naked female body, and the museum curator thinks that it's brilliant.
The model.
Einar's cousin.
These are different. For these, I don't know, there may be a market.
You're taking them.
Well, yes.
After Gerda starts painting the naked female form and appealing to the male gaze of the museum curator, she gets more opportunities.
The gallery Etienne Dufour in Paris wants to represent you.
In Paris?
Yes, you must go.
How is this not regressive? Her portrait paintings and her nude paintings are of equal skill and merit. Even the painting styles are the same. I can say this with good authority because I'm a professional illustrator for movies, film, and video games, have a traditional art education, and I have film credits for mainstream television networks. Though I have a strong belief that anyone, even non-artists, are able to judge the skill level of art fairly accurately. Non-artists might not be able to articulate why one painting doesn't work, and they won't know how to fix a bad painting. But they can correctly say whether or not a painting is skillful. So I'll let you decide for yourselves. Are the paintings on the right that much better than the ones on the left? Funny how, throughout art history, there have been countless political leaders with Napoleon-esque narcissism who commissioned delusional portraiture of themselves in order to appear more authoritative in the public eye. Democrats used to criticize this ridiculous self-aggrandizement, but now they cheer it on. The wives of trans women must face some of the worst misogyny transgenderism has to offer. Time and again, the movie requires Gerda to be a good, kind, affirming wife, despite the fact that she is being cheated on.
Could we not do it another time? Because I want to hear more about you, Hans. So, are you married?
No.
Well, why not?
She even goes so far as to ask one of the guys her husband cheated on her with for help and for him to reconnect with her husband, despite crying over the cheating earlier. Even when her husband literally has his penis cut off, she's expected to just smile and be supportive. And she does this. So many straight, quote-unquote, romance movies depict 3 out of 10 mediocre men who are mediocre in looks and character, and who somehow end up with beautiful, kind, and perfect women. This movie comfortably falls into this trope. Furthermore, coercing a woman to not complain about her selfish and mid-husband and telling her to love him no matter what horrible things he does is misogyny. The movie does a shoddy job at hiding this misogyny. In this weird as fuck scene, Einar goes to a brothel and pays to look at a prostitute through a window. The prostitute is dancing in a pornographic way. Einar mimics the movement of the prostitute, and the way the shots in the scene are framed make it look as if he is using a mirror. The scene is quite literally of a man mirroring a pornified image of a woman. For years, us TERFs have argued that transgenderism is not a reflection of actual womanhood, it is a reflection of a man's sexualized view of women. And this scene is evidence of just how right we are. Not only that, throughout the movie, Einar is constantly copying various women, sometimes making them feel uncomfortable.
You do understand that your husband is insane.
This is true. Additionally, when Einar transitions, he gives up a successful career as an artist to work in retail because retail is more fashionable and allows him to perform more.
The store is a stage. We're here to perform.
The latter parts of the film deal with the medicalization of the trans movement. The movie implies that Einar's infertility is proof that his transness is quote-unquote biologically real, which is a strange claim, but okay. The movie also shows various doctors subjecting him to dangerous electroshock therapy procedures. One doctor even talks about drilling holes into Einar's head.
I drill small holes here and here.
Obviously, risky and pointless procedures like this should be illegal and frowned upon. Yet in the same breath, the movie goes on to endorse genital surgery, which is even more dangerous. It's crazy that the movie portrays the previous doctors as psychopathic, while showing the genital surgeon as kind and understanding.
It's complex surgery.
And I will sleep all the way through it.
Yes, you will.
And you'll be there when I wake up.
Of course.
Einar ended up surviving the pointless and dangerous electroshock therapies, but the genital surgery was so risky that it killed him. And in this ending scene, the movie implies that Einar is now free.
No, leave it. Let it fly.
How is death freedom, though? This film is suicidal. The fact that it is even legal to show this sort of movie across the nation in theaters is insane. I'm generally pro-free speech, but obviously there needs to be limits and you have to draw the line somewhere. Movies should not be allowed to promote self-harm. In the final analysis, this movie is utterly evil. It disguises abusive philosophy as empathy and woman-hating as feminism. An actually feminist movie would encourage women to leave men at the first sign of narcissism, and to never affirm misogyny. It would tell women to see men as what they are. Whether he is wearing a suit and tie or a frilly dress, a man is a man. And men are not to be blindly trusted, nor to be given undeserved attention. Women should treat men who identify as trans just like any other man, and not give him any special privileges or special empathy. It is all too easy for a man to shield himself from abuse allegations by wearing a pink dress, and it is all too difficult for a woman to get out of an abusive relationship. Women should remember this the next time a husband or boyfriend claims to be trans. Before I end this video, I want to mention that I recently made a radical feminist section on my Discord server. I've noticed that there is a lack of community, specifically for radfem video gamers, so I'm making one. Here, you'll be able to find like-minded women to game with and discuss politics as well. Though even if you're not into video games, you're still welcome. To join, you first need to make a Discord account. Then, click on the Discord link in the description below the video. Click Accept Invite. Verify your phone number near the bottom of the screen. Then click the Verify channel and unlock the server. Once you do that, scroll down to the How to Join channel of the Feminist Hangout section and follow the instructions. This section will be women only, and we will have a verification process similar to other radfem Discord servers. My YouTube channel is still pretty small, so the server might be dead for the first couple of weeks, but hopefully after a while, enough people will join the server for it to be active. Happy gaming, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.